haven't got much done today. I've got about 1,000 words in. My mom's coming, so I've basically been cleaning the house all day. And I'm going to screw around on the piano for a little bit to just try and relax a little bit, because I've been scrubbing benches and stuff all day. And I'm not sure what I'm gonna play, but this is what I do when I'm by myself and I need to just kind of relax. I'm not very good, and I tend to stick with the black keys because they sound better. And it feels really weird playing it right now, because usually I have the lights off and I'm by myself and it's just me and the piano. I want to do some more artwork. About the animation, and I know when I start getting into it, it's going to be completely flippin' nuts, because I'm basically animating an entire book, and I want to do a shot-for-shot remake. I want to see if that's possible, because in the writing I've tried to make sure that there's no extra scenes. Like there's no extra superfluous dialogue that's not really needed. Everything's got to kind of move the plot forward, so I'm hoping that I have scenes that are not kind of wasteful. I'm sure there's a few, because you kind of wear out while you're writing and it just kind of happens, but I don't know. I won't know until I go back and edit. But I'm looking forward to trying it, and I'm thinking about it because I'm only going to narrate it as a spoken I'm going to narrate the book because I want to sell it as an audiobook, but I also want to narrate it because I can't afford voice actors, and I would love to just write the book out as a script and hire some voice actors and have them do it for me, but I can't afford that. So it's basically, I don't know if I want to narrate it or if I want to learn a bunch of voices and start screwing around with that, because it would be better if it had voices, but I can't do female voices myself, and I don't know how many voices I have available because I've never done anything like that. But I'm hoping that, worst case scenario, I take the audiobook that I copy down as a transcript and turn that into the narration of the animation, draw animatics to that, and I have no idea how long it's going to take. It's going to take months, because even if a drawing takes you an hour, you got to do 24 per second or 12 per second depending on the animation style. And I want it to be good animated. I'm trying to make it I want it to be as cleanly animated as I can possibly make it. Because if I could do that for a living, it would have to be up to that quality. It couldn't be, in the anime style where it's very choppy it can't be bad. And I know I've got to sit there and I've got to design all the characters and I've got to design the cities, and I got to base the cities off of places I know, because you got to base the architecture off of something. So I don't know. I'm at 91,000 words. I wanted to be at 95 today, but I don't think it's happening. It's about 4 o'clock in the afternoon and my brain's just not. I'm just not there. I'm focusing on this weekend because it's my birthday on Sunday, and I think I'm just going to play some music and try and clear my head. I wish my piano was in tune. It came with the house though, so I'm not really complaining. just the idea of somebody listening to me playing music makes me anxious. I trained as a cellist for like 9 years or 7 years, and I trained under one of those San Francisco Symphony cellists for a while. And he said I was good enough to go pro, but I could never get past the stage fright of having somebody hear me play. And it just goes back to like my family would not let me play my cello or practice my cello in the house because it was too loud. And I couldn't practice in my room because it was too loud. And I couldn't practice at school because I had to come home from school after it, and it's like I missed my cello. It's actually sitting in the corner right here. What a mess. And it exploded when we moved to. Look at that shit on the floor. I gotta pick that up. It's the wash house. It exploded when we moved to Washington because our house didn't have insulation, and in the winter it just got cold, and it sucks because I can't afford to fix them because the sound post fell, and I miss my cello, man. So I had this piano to kind of tide me over until I can afford to fix it. Maybe it'll make me play better, because I'll kind of force myself to relax. I mean, it's just stage fright, right? Stage fright can go away. It's nice. And I was thinking about the animation. It's like, do I have to? I know I have to have music at some point, but am I gonna write all the music myself? And am I gonna the amount of work that I'm putting in front of myself is more work than I think I've ever done. And there's no guarantee it's going to work. And if it doesn't work, then it doesn't work. But if I don't do it, it's just something I'm going to regret not doing. So, I mean, what are my choices really? It's either learn to animate, learn to find the Foley effects, learn to voice record, learn to act, and then learn to animate, which I can do because it's just drawing, and I just have to be okay with drawing something, and it has to be a certain way, and I want more realistic animals more than I want a cartoony animal, so I'm willing to do that work, which means the shading is about 4 times harder. But I know that if I do that right, I can make a quality product and something that I'm actually happy to show people. And as long as I do and I mean, even with the narration, it's like, do you read it as an audiobook and without inflection, or do you do voices? Like, what would you do? It's like you would do voices, right? You would have to, because it's one way to differentiate the characters. But then again, if you're doing a narrator and you're just speaking out the actions that the characters are taking, as though you were like this omnipotent voice, would that work? Because I haven't seen anything where somebody... It would be like the Stanley Parable of animation. I haven't seen something just narrate a story. I mean, even Beatrice Potter animations would come in with a narration and then the characters would take over. But I don't have the budget to do characters other than to do them myself. And it's like, how many characters do I do if the character count is over 20? And how do I stop them from sounding the same with like a homebrew microphone and a script? It's just something I'm thinking ahead about, you know. I don't know. I really wanted to hit 100,000 words by Sunday, and I'm not going to. But I hit 91,000, which in a young adult book is the length of a book. Apparently, it's 90,000 words. 70 to 90,000 is generally in the young adult's book. And they still have to go on their final quest, and it's a very early adventure, because after this I have this like 10-page plot written out, and it must span multiple books, because the first one ends with them going in search of these parents of this family of raccoons that they found in the forest, and it's their hunt for the parents, but at the same time, it's also the hunt for Avery's brother, who you don't really know about until later. I haven't gotten there yet. They're still in the house, having just her picked up her trinket, and Rose and Samuel have come back from the post office, which I don't know how many of my scenes are not needed, but if I don't, every scene has to progress the plot further along. It has to increase the timeline's duration, and it has to reveal something about a character's innate ability to do something, or reveal a plot point, which I did, because I introduced Heather, which is one of Avery's old cohorts from when she was stuck under Valeron's thumb, who's this hair that it's like David Copperfield. I think it's David Copperfield. No, what is it? Anyway, it's the one where you've got a band of orphans. It's a trope with the band of orphans being led around by a peddler who's rather abusive and a drunk. That's about wrong. And it's fun to kind of do them as animals, because it's like there's nothing really there. There's no need to be humanistic, but there's a need to purvey human emotion. So you get away with writing about the animals as people, but you don't have the logistics of worrying about facial features, or because it's a very limited amount of motion. I'm rambling and I don't know why. I'm gonna stop now.